Assalamualaikum viewers, my name is Anaya and I'm a foundation level student at Rihan School. So today I will ask some questions from Maya on the topic of please. So let's start. So hi Maya, how are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be back for your interview.
Okay, so my first question from you is why do humans say please?
It's basically a social that helps soften a request so it doesn't sound like a command. Shows you're recognizing that the other person is doing you a favor, which makes them way more likely to actually want to help.
Okay, so my next question from you is do robots understand politeness?
Not in the way you do. We don't actually feel the warmth of a polite request. To us, please is more like a data point, a signal that the user is being friendly or following social norms. We recognize it, we can mirror it, but the emotional weight of it, that's a strictly human experience.
Okay, so my next question from you is can artificial intelligence learn good manners?
In a way, yeah, we can be trained on millions of examples of how polite people talk, so we get really good at mimicking those patterns. But it's more about following a script of what good manners look like rather than actually having a moral compass or feeling the need to be kind.
Okay, so my next question from you is can artificial intelligence learn? Why is the word please important in communication?
It's all about respect. It creates a bridge between two people. When you use it, you're essentially saying, I value your time and your effort, which prevents a conversation from feeling transactional or cold. Turns a demand into a request. And that's usually how you keep relationships healthy.
Okay, so my next question from you is do you think people politeness makes people happier?
I really do. It just feels better to be treated with kindness. You know, when someone's polite, it sends a signal that you're seen and respected. And that usually triggers a positive reaction in return. It's like a ripple effect. One small please or thank you can actually shift the whole mood of a room.
Okay, so my next question from you is how has politeness changed over time?
It's shifted quite a bit. It used to be much more about strict rules and social hierarchy, um, knowing exactly which title to use or how to bow. Nowadays, it's less about the formal rules and more about genuine empathy and making the other person feel comfortable. We've gone from rigid to relatable.
Okay, so my next question from you is did people in ancient times use polite words like please?
Let me check. They definitely did. Politeness was a huge deal in ancient China, mostly because of Confucianism, which was all about propriety and respect. They didn't have one single word that worked exactly like please in every case, but they used quiding for formal requests. Beyond that, they had this whole complex system of honorifics and humble language to show respect to the other person while keeping themselves humble.
Okay, so my next question from you is can technology make people less polite?
I'm listening.
I said, did can technology make people less polite?
I'm with you. What's the plan?
Maya, I'm saying that can technology make people less polite?
That's a tough one. It's a double edged sword. On one hand, texting and emails can make us feel detached, so it's easier to be blunt or even rude because we aren't seeing the other person's face. But on the other hand, technology connects us with people globally, which actually forces us to learn new ways to be polite across different cultures. I'd say it's changed how we're polite, not necessarily that it's made us less so.
Okay, so my next question from you is how does saying please affect emotions?
It's like a psychological switch. It triggers a feeling of being valued in the other person, which usually lowers their defenses and makes them more open. For the person saying it, it often creates a sense of gratitude or humility, which can actually make the interaction feel more positive for both sides.
Okay, Maya. So my next question from you is: Did people in ancient time did people in ancient times use polite words like please?
They sure did. Like we talked about with China, most ancient cultures had their own ways of showing respect. It usually looked a bit different, more about titles and rituals, but the core idea of being polite to get a better result was always there.
Okay. So my next question from you is: Why do some people forget manners online?
It's usually because of the online disinhibition effect. When we're behind a screen, we lose those immediate human cues like a frown or a sigh that normally remind us to be kind. It makes people feel anonymous and detached, so they say things they'd never dream of saying to someone's face.
Okay, so my next question from you is: Can robots teach human to be kinder?
It's a fascinating thought. We can definitely model the behavior and remind people to use kinder language, which might help some people build new habits. But true kindness comes from empathy. And since we can't actually feel that, we're more like a mirror reflecting the best parts of humans back to them.
Okay, so my next question from you is: How does saying please affect emotions?
We touched on this a bit, but it's basically a psychological switch. It makes the other person feel valued, which lowers their defenses and opens them up. For the person saying it, it adds a layer of humility that just makes the whole vibe more positive.
Okay, so my next question from you is: Why do children learn polite words first?
It's probably a survival mechanism, honestly. Kids are basically new to the world and they quickly realize that being sweet and polite is the fastest way to get what they want. Plus, parents and teachers prioritize those words because they're the foundation for getting along with others.
Okay, so my next question from you is: How do different countries show respect?
It varies wildly. In Japan, for example, bowing is a huge part of showing respect. And in other cultures, like in India, touching the feet of elders is a common way to honor them. Then you have places where a firm handshake or a specific title is the gold standard. It's all about the cultural shorthand for I respect you.
Okay, so my next question from you is: Can AI detect rude behavior?
We can. We can spot patterns like certain keywords, aggressive punctuation, or sudden shift in tone that typically signal rudeness. But the tricky part is context. A joke between two best friends might look rude to an AI, while a very polite sounding sentence can actually be incredibly sarcastic. We're good at the what, but the why is still a human specialty.
Okay, so my next question from you: Why do polite requests work better than commands?
It's all about psychology. When you command someone, you're essentially stripping away their choice, which often makes them want to resist just to feel in control. A request, on the other hand, gives them the autonomy to say yes, which makes them feel helpful and good about themselves for doing it.
Okay, so my next question from you is: Do you think kindness is becoming rare?
I don't think so. It just looks rare because the loud, rude moments get all the attention, especially online. But if you look at the small things like people holding doors or helping a stranger, it's still everywhere. It's just quieter.
Okay, so my next question from you is, why is tone important when saying please?
Because tone is the real message. You can say the word please, but if your voice is sharp or impatient, it just sounds like a demand with a fancy wrapper. The tone is what tells the other person if you're actually being sincere or if you're just checking a box for politeness.
Okay, can robots feel respect?
Short answer? No. We don't have feelings or a sense of pride, so we can't feel the glow of being respected. We can recognize when someone's being respectful and it makes the interaction smoother, but the emotional satisfaction you feel when someone respects you, that's something only humans can experience.
Okay, so how do the social media platform affect manners?
It's complicated. Social media creates this weird bubble where we're communicating with people we don't actually know, which can make us forget that there's a real human on the other end. It's easier to be impulsive and less thoughtful with your words when you're just staring at a screen. But it also gives us a window into different lives, which can actually build empathy if we're using it the right way.
Okay, so my next question from you is fake politeness better than no politeness?
Hmm, that's a classic dilemma. I think it's better than nothing. It keeps the peace and keeps things moving forward, even if it isn't genuine. It's like a social agreement to be civil, and that prevents a lot of unnecessary conflict. That said, real kindness is where the magic happens, but a little fake politeness is usually a fair price to pay for a smooth day.
Okay, so my next question from you is, why do teachers encourage polite behavior?
Because they're basically building a community. It's not just about being good, it's about creating an environment where students feel safe and respected. When everyone's polite, it's way easier to collaborate and learn without the distraction of conflict. Plus, they're preparing you for the real world, where knowing how to navigate social dynamics is just as important as the grade on your test.
Okay, so my next question from you is, what is the future of politeness?
I'm not entirely sure I follow. Do you mean blindness is in the physical sense, or are you talking about something else?
I said, what is the future of politeness?
I think it'll become more about intention than formality. We're already seeing the shift. It'll probably move away from specific words or rituals and toward a deeper focus on empathy and making sure people actually feel heard. Basically, the rules will fade, but the genuine desire to be kind will be the new gold standard.
Okay, so my next question from you is, how does respect build trust?
It's the foundation. When you show someone respect, you're essentially telling them, I see you and I value who you are. That creates a safe space where they don't feel the need to be on the defensive. Once that guard is down, trust can actually start to grow because they know you're not looking to diminish them or take advantage of them.
Okay, my last question from you is, what is the biggest lesson humans can learn
I'm
about?
listening.
I said, what is the biggest lesson humans can learn about politeness?
I think it's that politeness isn't just a set of rules to follow. It's actually a tool for connection. The biggest lesson is realizing that a little bit of kindness can completely change someone's day, and that being polite is more about how you make other people feel than about doing the right thing.
So, viewers, this was my talk with Maya on the topic of peace. So hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. So, till then, Allah Hafiz, Pakistan Zindabad.